So I turned to road racing, and I was good at road racing, and I decided that I would try and be a professional road racer. And I got a job in a bike shop so I could focus on road racing. You know, I was a mechanic before. And that same year I got a job in a bike shop, mountain bikes started coming into the bike shop. And I saw these mountain bikes and I was like, that's more fun than road racing. It's an individual sport. You know, you're out in nature and it's fun like you're a kid. And so I started looking into trying to get into mountain bike racing, and there's some very early mountain bike races, and that's how I started pursuing the mountain bike. One of the reasons that I'm still this healthy and able to ride at a high level at my age is because I've stayed in shape with the bicycle and been passionate about it. I don't overtrain. I'm not obsessive about my training. You have to be more thoughtful about your training, because the important thing, and young people especially need to be reminded of it, you don't get better from training hard. You get better from training hard and then resting. And when you rest, your body rebuilds itself stronger than before you trained hard. But if you just train hard and don't rest, your body doesn't get stronger. What does trail building do for a community? I live in a community that people move there just because of the riding, just because of the mountain biking. So, I mean, they're moving there because they like that way of life of being able to have access to good trails. And not only that, it affects the economy, because people come there to ride, and they stay in the hotels and the restaurants, and it affects tourism. So it brings, you know, dollars to the economy just because of the quality of the trails. The other question was about trail building, which it's key, because without trail builders, we don't have good trails. It's kind of like race promoters. Without race promoters, we don't even have a sport.
Enduro racing is really good, I think, because it's the type of riding that most people do. It's trail riding. And it's different than downhill, which is more specific, but downhill riding requires a lot of chairlift or driving in a shuttle. So that's why I like enduro riding, because the riders ride up. It doesn't have to be super fast, but they get the experience of riding. And the bikes are more like the bikes that everybody is buying and riding, just regular trail bikes. So I think that's why enduro is very good for the sport.
And about the AGI, Luke Bruni running two-sided wheels.
Well, I think so. With you know, when we hire athletes, just like when Mike Senior hired me many years ago, we want the athletes' input. We want the athletes' opinions. So they're the people who are the experts, and they can experiment. So I mean, that's what Loic is doing. I think it's good to experiment with two different size wheels and with 29-inch wheels, and so it's very interesting. It'll be interesting to see how the wheel size of downhill evolves.
Primeiramente, muito obrigado a tua visita.
It was a good trip. It was fun to visit this park. A lot of different features with like jumps and cross-country tracks and technical sections and turns, so very nice. Yeah, what NORE has built here is important. You know, it's like Zoom Bike Park. It's like the big vision, you know, which is important for people to bring people to cycling. Because it's a healthy sport, and especially if you bring them in when they're kids. I think when you have a park like this, you know, with easy jumps to learn on and a pump track, you know, then the kids learn the skills and they learn to enjoy. And then when they're older, they can be champions, or they can just enjoy the bicycle.
Obrigado, Ned. Tudo de bom.